You've never really had anything. No one has ever truly belonged to you. Your father is gone. Your relationship ended. That friendship you thought would last forever faded into silence without even a proper goodbye. The job you sacrificed years of your life for let you go with a single email, a single meeting, like those years meant nothing. And no matter how desperately you try to hold on, everything slips through your fingers like it was never really there. The cruelest part? You already knew it would. Deep down, underneath all the hope and the plans and the "this time it's different," you knew. You've always known that nothing lasts, but you pretend. You believe the lie. You convince yourself that this person will stay, that this feeling won't fade, that this chapter of your life is the one that finally holds. And when it doesn't, you suffer like the world betrayed you, but the world never promised you a single thing. The love of your life doesn't belong to you. Your children aren't yours, they're their own people, already moving toward a future you won't be part of. Your closest friends aren't yours. Not even your own body is truly yours. It will age, weaken, break down cell by cell, and eventually leave you behind without asking your permission. And yet you live as if you could trap time in your hands, as if wanting something badly enough could make it permanent, as if the intensity of your love could rewrite the laws of existence. That's not love, that's not faith, that's delusion. And the entire history of human wisdom, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Zhuangzi, every philosopher who ever stared honestly at the nature of existence has been screaming the same single truth across thousands of years: let go, because it's the holding that destroys you. Your pain doesn't come from loss, it comes from the illusion that you had something to lose in the first place. From the moment you could understand language, the world handed you a blueprint for suffering and called it a guide to happiness. Own things, build things, keep things, get the relationship, lock it down, get the career, climb higher, get the house, the title, the respect, the reputation. Build your identity like a fortress, defend every brick, add more walls, make it permanent, make it yours. Nobody told you the fortress was built on sand. Nobody sat you down and said, everything you love will end, everyone you need will leave or die, the body you live in will betray you. The version of yourself you're so busy protecting is a story you invented and have been editing every day, and it will dissolve just like everything else. Nobody said that because it would have been terrifying. It is terrifying. But the alternative, living inside the lie, is so much worse. Because now you're an adult, and every time something ends, it doesn't just hurt, it devastates you in a way that feels like it shouldn't, like the universe broke a contract, like you were cheated, like someone changed the rules without telling you. You were given a blueprint that guaranteed permanence, and reality keeps refusing to follow it. So you don't just feel grief, you feel rage underneath the grief. The rage of someone who was lied to. And you were, but not by the universe, by a world that needed you to keep wanting, keep buying, keep striving, keep consuming. A world that could not afford for you to ever arrive at enough. Think about what they asked you as a child. What do you want to be when you grow up? Not who do you want to become, not how do you want to live. What do you want to be? As if being were the same as having a title, as if identity were an acquisition, as if your whole life were a problem of accumulation to be solved. That question planted a seed of permanent dissatisfaction, and the world has been watering it every single day since. Now, let's be specific. Let's cut through the story you tell yourself and name the real thing. You're not devastated because someone left. You're devastated because you had already decided they were yours. You're not destroyed by the failure. You're destroyed because you fused your entire sense of worth to the outcome. So when it fell apart, you fell apart with it. You're not broken by the loneliness. You're broken because you built your identity around someone else's presence. And now that they're gone, you genuinely don't know who you are without them. You handed your selfhood to another person for safekeeping, and they walked out the door with it. The pain is never really about the event. The pain is about the gap, the violent distance between what happened and what you decided was supposed to happen. Every time you suffer, and I mean every single time, somewhere underneath it is an unspoken contract you wrote. A contract with another person, with your career, with life itself. A contract that says, if I give this much, I receive that much in return. If I love this hard, this person stays. If I work this long, I am rewarded. If I am this good, I am protected. Reality never signed that contract. It never agreed to your terms. It never read the document. It has been moving according to its own logic, completely indifferent to the deals you made in your head. So when the collapse comes, and it always comes, you don't just grieve what you lost, you grieve the entire framework. You grieve the operating system you've been running on that turns out to have been corrupted from the start. That's the grief that breaks people open for years, not the loss itself, the discovery that the ground was never solid, that the safety you thought you had was always an illusion. That awakening is brutal. And it's also the only real beginning you'll ever have. Now look closely at the most controlling people you know. The jealous partner who checks phones at 3 a.m, who needs to know where you are every hour, who interprets every silence as a threat. The parent who cannot allow their adult child to make a single independent mistake without intervening. The person who has been in mourning for a relationship that ended 3 years ago, not because love remains, but because letting go feels like agreeing to their own erasure. Look at them. Are they happy? Are they free? They are in prison, and the walls of that prison were built not by another person, not by circumstance, but by their own terror of loss, dressed up as love, performing as devotion, presenting itself as care. This is what attachment actually does. Not what it feels like it does, what it actually does. It doesn't protect love, it poisons it. You love someone so much it curdles into fear. Fear becomes surveillance. Surveillance becomes control. Control breeds resentment. Resentment quietly kills the thing you were trying to preserve. You've lived some version of this. Most people have. You held on so tight you crushed it. Or someone held on to you so tight you had to break free just to breathe. The terrible irony is that clinging doesn't protect anything. It accelerates the very end you're trying to prevent. But the attachment to other people is only half of it. The deeper, more destructive attachment is the one you have to your own image. You have a version of yourself you maintain and defend, the capable one, the one who holds it together, the one who doesn't fail publicly, doesn't get visibly rejected, doesn't let people see the chaos underneath. And when life contradicts that image, which it does relentlessly for everyone, you don't just feel embarrassed, you feel annihilated, because you have fused your survival with a performance. That's why criticism doesn't just sting, it feels like an attack on your right to exist. That's why failure doesn't just disappoint, it feels like a death sentence. That's why you're still replaying conversations from years ago, rehearsing better responses, trying to retroactively win arguments with people who have long since forgotten them. You are not protecting yourself, you are guarding a myth. And that myth is the heaviest thing you carry. Here's the mechanism no one explains to you. Your brain does not reward you for getting what you want. It rewards you for wanting it. The dopamine, the chemical of pleasure and motivation, spikes in anticipation, not arrival. The craving is the actual drug. The having is almost always a letdown. This is why you chase the promotion for 2 years, finally get it, feel good for about a week, and then find a new thing to be anxious about. This is why you enter the relationship you'd been dreaming about for so long and immediately start worrying about losing it. This is why the apartment, the car, the achievement you needed so badly becomes background noise within months of obtaining it. You were built to want more. The system does not have an off switch. There is no destination where your brain exhales and says, "This is enough, we can stop now." Because a brain that stops wanting stops striving. And for your ancient ancestors, a brain that stopped striving stopped surviving. That mechanism kept humans alive for hundreds of thousands of years. It is catastrophically mismatched to the world you're living in now. Because now, you live in an environment that has identified this mechanism, studied it, and built an entire global economy around exploiting it. Every platform on your phone is designed by teams of engineers whose sole purpose is to keep you in the wanting state as long as possible. Not the satisfied state, not the peaceful state, the wanting state, the reaching, hungry, incomplete state, because that is where attention lives, and attention is what gets sold. You scroll through curated performances of other people's lives and call it staying connected. You compare your interior experience, your doubts, your fears, your mess, to other people's exterior presentation, their highlights, their achievements, their carefully composed moments, and you walk away feeling like you're failing at your own existence. You were not born feeling insufficient. You were trained to feel insufficient, and the training never stops. Seneca saw this clearly 2,000 years ago. It is not poverty that causes suffering, but the endless desire for more. You already have what you need to live. You don't believe it because an enormous amount of money depends on your continued belief that you don't. Now here's the part that will hurt. It should. You were kind to people who weren't kind back. You gave loyalty and received betrayal. You loved someone with the full weight of everything you had, and they still left. You worked harder than people who got further. You stayed when others would have gone, sacrificed when others were taking, held on when every reasonable instinct said to let go, and still the outcome you feared arrived. And underneath all of that, in a place you might not even fully admit to yourself, you believe there is a debt.
That the universe owes you something for that suffering, that there is a moral accounting somewhere, a cosmic ledger, and yours has a significant credit balance that hasn't been paid out yet. There is no ledger. Nobody owes you kindness because you were kind. Nobody owes you love because you loved. Nobody owes you success because you bled for it. The universe runs on physics, not fairness. It does not track your sacrifices. It does not ensure that good inputs produce good outputs. It does not guarantee that the good die peacefully or that the cruel suffer consequences. Life is not a meritocracy. It is not a morality play. It is not a story designed to reward the deserving and punish the wicked. It is just life. Moving, changing, completely indifferent to your sense of what should happen next. But here's what that also means, and this is the part people miss. If the universe owes you nothing, then it is also targeting you with nothing. It is not out to get you. It is not punishing you. The losses you've suffered were not personal. The pain you carried was not a verdict on your worth. Reality doesn't even know your name. It just moves. And sometimes that movement tears through the things you love. And that tearing is not justice or injustice. It is just what movement does. You have been suffering twice. Once from the actual events of your life, and a second time, often for much longer, from the belief that those events were wrong, that they violated an agreement, that you were cheated by something that owed you better. Drop the second suffering. The event hurt, but the story you built on top of the event, the story of cosmic unfairness, of being specifically robbed, of a debt that hasn't been paid, that story is the cage. And you built it yourself, and you have the key. Now ask yourself something honestly. Who are you? Not what you do or what your name is. Who are you? Strip away the name. Someone else gave you that. Strip away the job. That's a function, not an identity. Strip away the relationships. Those are connections, not a self. Strip away the beliefs. You held completely different ones a decade ago. Strip away the body. Science tells us it replaces the majority of its cells over years. Strip away the memories. Neurologists will tell you every time you recall a memory, you are steadily rewriting it. What is left? Follow that question honestly, and you arrive somewhere deeply uncomfortable. There is no fixed thing there. What you call you is a process, not an object, a story under constant revision, a narrative stitched together from selective memory and fear and projection, maintained through enormous daily effort, defended against every challenge with the ferocity of someone protecting the only thing they have. The ego is not you. It is the mechanism that generates the story of you. And it is terrified, constitutionally, structurally terrified of anything that disrupts the story. Because disruption of the story feels to the ego like death. But here's what actually waits on the other side of that fear. Not emptiness, not void, not the horror the ego imagines when it contemplates its own dissolution. Just awareness. Clean, quiet, undefended awareness. The capacity to watch experience move through you without being swept away by it. The ability to feel pain without becoming the pain. To experience loss without becoming the loss. To say not, I am broken, but simply, there is brokenness here. And to watch it with the calm of someone who knows that everything that arises also passes. Neuroscience confirms what the mystics discovered in silence. The self is not a thing. It is a process. There is no single location in the brain where the I lives. What exists is a continuous cascade of perception, memory, sensation, and narrative, a symphony with no conductor performing the illusion of a unified audience member. The you reading this right now is not the same you who woke up this morning, literally, neurologically. So why are you still carrying wounds from a self that has already dissolved, being punished for or punishing others for something that happened to a person you no longer are? People imagine letting go as a kind of defeat, a giving up, a resignation to loss. It is the opposite. When you genuinely release your grip on outcomes, on people, on the image of yourself, on the story of what your life was supposed to look like, it does not feel like losing. It feels like setting down a weight you had been carrying so long you forgot it was there. It feels like muscles unclenching that have been braced against impact for years. It feels, for the first time in a long time, like breathing fully. The relationship you stopped clinging to, maybe it becomes more honest, more free, more alive, because both people in it can now move without the suffocation of possession. Or maybe it ends, cleanly and clearly, without the years of half-life that clinging produces, without the zombie existence of holding something dead because you cannot bear to bury it. The self-image you stopped defending, maybe it dissolves into something quieter, softer, more honest, a person who can be wrong without collapsing, who can fail without disappearing, who can be seen in their actual state, uncertain, imperfect, figuring it out, and not feel destroyed by the visibility. This is what detachment actually produces. Not coldness, not indifference, more feeling, cleaner feeling, feeling that isn't constantly contaminated by the terror of its own ending. You love sunsets more when you're not trying to photograph them. You love people more when you're not trying to own them. You love your own life more when you stop measuring it against the life you imagined you were supposed to have. Beauty exists because of fragility, not in spite of it. Impermanence is not the enemy of meaning, it is the source of meaning. If everything lasted forever, nothing would matter. The sunset is extraordinary because it ends. The moment is precious because it passes. The love is profound because it is held between two people who will both eventually die. Your whole life has been precious for exactly this reason, and you've spent most of it trying to make it permanent instead of letting it be what it is, finite, fleeting, and because of that, sacred. Here is the truth underneath all of it. You were never running out of time. You were running away from now. You were never incomplete. You were just convinced of incompleteness by a world that profits from that belief. You were never betrayed by life. You were betrayed by the story you were told about what life was supposed to deliver. Every moment you have ever tried to freeze, to photograph, to archive, to hold still, to return to, you were trying to escape the present by making the past permanent. And every moment you have spent anxious about the future, rehearsing losses that haven't happened, building defenses against threats that don't yet exist, you were trying to escape the present by controlling what comes next. The present moment is the only place life actually happens. It is the only place you have ever actually been. Every experience you have ever had, every conversation, every loss, every joy, every grief happened in a present moment and then became the past. And the past is gone, and you keep going back to it anyway, living there, suffering there, trying to fix or preserve things that have already dissolved into something that no longer exists except as memory. Stop going back. Stop rehearsing. Stop managing the future and mourning the past. There is only this breath, this moment, the fact of your existence right now, which is not a small thing,
which is actually an extraordinary thing, so ordinary by now that you've stopped seeing it.
You were born into a universe that didn't have to make room for you. You exist on a planet that has been spinning for 4.5 billion years, producing in this particular moment a specific combination of matter and energy that somehow generates your experience of being alive. And instead of being staggered by that, which would be the rational response, you are worried about what someone thinks of you. You are replaying an argument. You are calculating what you lack. The mystics and philosophers weren't asking you to become emotionless. They weren't asking you to stop loving, stop caring, stop engaging fully with the world. They were pointing at something much simpler and much more radical. Be here. Actually here. Not managing here from the safe distance of your story about here. Present, open, undefended, alive to what's actually happening instead of what you're afraid might happen or what you wished had happened differently. That is the practice. Not a philosophy, not a belief system, a practice. Something you do or try to do in every moment and fail at and try again. Every time you feel the grip tighten around something passing, you notice, you breathe, you open your hand. Every time the story of who you're supposed to be starts defending itself against reality, you notice, you breathe, you let reality win. Every time you feel the rage of an unmet expectation, the fury at a universe that didn't follow your rules, you notice, you breathe, you remember. There were no rules. There was never a contract. The universe owes you nothing. And somehow, impossibly, that is not a tragedy. It is a liberation. You've been carrying an enormous weight for a long time, the weight of trying to keep everything, the weight of defending who you are against who life keeps trying to make you, the weight of contracts the universe never signed, the weight of a self that doesn't actually exist except as a story you rehearse every day to avoid confronting the terrifying, liberating truth underneath. You are not the story. You are the awareness that watches the story. And the awareness has never been damaged, never been broken, never been less than whole. It was there before the losses and it will be there after. It doesn't need to be protected because it cannot be destroyed. The people who passed through your life and left, they were never yours to keep. They were yours to know. That's different. That's actually better if you let it be. The version of yourself you lost when things fell apart, that wasn't your real self. That was a costume. And every loss that stripped it away was trying to show you what's underneath, what was always underneath, what cannot be taken because it was never a possession. You are not your achievements or your failures, not your relationships or their endings, not your reputation or its wounds, not your plans or their ruins. You are the one watching all of it, still here, still aware, still underneath everything, unbroken. The world doesn't owe you meaning. It hands you existence, raw, unguaranteed, temporary, complete, and the meaning is yours to make in the living of it, not the holding of it. So live it. Not from fear, not from grip, not from the desperate management of a life you're trying to keep exactly as it is. From presence, from openness, from the willingness to be here, fully, for whatever this moment actually is. Not the moment you planned for or the moment you're dreading, but this one. Exactly this one. Hold nothing. Love everything knowing it passes. Let go. Not someday, not when you've processed enough, understood enough, healed enough. Now, in this breath, in this moment that is already slipping into the past as you hear these words. Right now. That's the only time you've ever had. Make it enough. It already is. Nothing was ever yours. That's not the tragedy. That's the door.